I'm not gonna lie, I'm sick of the discourse behind Invincible's animation. So many people are talking about the way the show is presented that I think some of the bigger, arguably more important issues fall by the wayside. I think Invincible has a much bigger issue at play here that I'm not seeing talked about as much, something that was present in the source material but has really gone too far in the show. But I'll get to that in a sec. Right up front, I feel like I have to do this every time, but I do love the show. I feel like the fact that people are willing to overlook so many of these problems is a testament to the writing and how well these characters are presented on screen. You know, like, people wouldn't keep watching the show if it looked this way and the writing wasn't as strong as it is. I mean, the first few seasons were so good, I went and I read the whole comic run. Like, not every show can do that. You think I'm reading The Boys? No way. First, people aren't wrong to criticize the show's presentation. There are animation errors that are borderline unacceptable. When the show wants to look great, it looks great. But when the show wants to look good, it looks God, I'm so sick of these conversations, so let me just breeze past it real quick right up front. So, the animation. I like that I made a video criticizing the way Invincible looks, only for me to completely eat my words the week right after with that second Conquest fight. And yeah, you could say that I look like an idiot, but I would argue that that's exactly what I said the show's been doing. It gives us just enough sick animation in key moments that are prioritized, and then goes back to bumping PNGs the next episode. In my opinion, I'd rather some kind of middle ground, give the show a little more time to get some polish in, because I do think the animation is at a level that's distractingly flawed.
Ark! It was so long. I thought...
Wow, Eve, that's amazing. You were able to say that without moving your mouth. Did you get telepathy while I was in space? I'll give Mark one thing. He's got guts. What is it about Conquest that when he shows up, the animation just goes off? I mean, my God, he opened up Mark like a letter. It's a shame because the presentation was always one of the best things about the comics. Otley's art just always looks so cool, and he only improves as the book goes on. The Viltrumite War in particular showcases some of the book's best panels, and for lovers of the comic, there were some visual moments that I wish got better represented here. Alright, that's all I'll say about the animation. Okay, so moving on. So one of my least favorite things about the series, both show and comic, keeps rearing its ugly head, and I think this episode, the finale of season 4, is a perfect time to talk about it. It's something that right around this time reading the comic series bothered me then and still bothers me now, maybe even more so. And it's something that this episode did a million times. So let me explain. A big guilty pleasure of mine is going back and watching reaction videos when an episode comes out, especially on a show like this with huge jaw-dropping moments and shocks almost every episode. I think it's great to see how it affects an audience who doesn't know what's coming. I remember doing the same thing when Game of Thrones was coming out. I loved it. And it's great. People jumping, screaming, losing their shit at moments like when Omni-Man kills the Guardians or the first Conquest fight. So I go to watch reactions from this season and it's funny. Everyone kind of has the same reaction.
Oh, but he's okay.
I mean, the big moments still come. Oliver flies over to Thragg, hits him with a killer insult.
A black hole call. He wants it sucked back.
Good one, dude. And Thragg slaps his jaw off while somehow also ripping his arm off. Everyone should be losing their shit, and 100% of people had the exact same reaction. They went, ah! Oh wait, he's fine.
I mean, I think he can recover from that. It just...
And I've got the craziest hot take about this moment right here. Ready? You're not ready for it. I think Oliver should have died here. I know. I'm sorry. I said what I said. I will not be taking any questions. I mean, we don't even get 10 minutes after Nolan is impaled through the chest before he's 100% back up and running. And they do this with everybody. Rex, Oliver, Eve, Duplicate, Ray, Donald, Alan, Angstrom, Conquest. It's practically a mortal superpower at this point. Oh, let's not forget Thula, Lucan, Shapesmith, plus all the ones in this newest episode. That counts. And those are just off the top of my head. The fact that I'm certain that there are some I'm forgetting, it shows that it's a problem. And the thing is, it's not a show exclusive thing. It's so much of the Invincible DNA from the comics, but it's a part of the story that over time really gets grating and, unfortunately, like spoilers for the future here, never really goes away. That being said, this season also had some great improvements over the source material, big and small. For example, I think female Tech Jacket is really cool. It immediately gives her a little dynamic with Oliver that wasn't there in the comics at all. Makes her and Oliver more interesting, and I think that that's just an improvement, not gonna lie. Tech Jacket in the books, once everyone's all fucked up from the war and has their scraggly beards, just kinda looks like another Mark or Oliver. Everyone kinda starts looking really samey. God damn, Mark is invincible. What the fuck else would you call him when he's still breathing after this? Another improvement is that making that second Conquest fight all about playing keep away from Oliver is such a great idea. I don't remember that from the comics, but it gives the action another layer beyond just kind of punching at random. It's like a jump scare whenever Oliver's on screen and anybody does anything. Jesus Christ! Fucking hell. I was tense. Another thing I thought was really an improvement was the finale specifically. Mark is going through such a big change, coming back to Earth and questioning his identity as Invincible, as well as his role in aiding the Viltrumites' recovery via Earth. Eve has gone through some big changes and pours her heart out to Mark in a really effective and emotional scene between the two that sets them up to be perfect for each other in the future. But the real heavy hitter this episode, in my opinion, was Debbie. I fucking love Debbie. I legit got emotional when she makes the decision to go to space to see Oliver, like raising an alien son that's not even yours and doing anything you can for him. Man, she's the best of us.
I had to see you again.
Fuck you.
Debbie's the GOAT. Paul, you fumbled. I will say though, going back to the main point, is that these fake out deaths, man, I understand that they're establishing Mark's post-war trauma, but it just felt like shock value for the sake of shock value and really got old by like, what, the 5th time they did it this episode? I wonder if anybody legit bought them, because I feel after the first one, people really get what's going on. I mean, they had a similar moment in the comics. Mark is kind of having a, whatever you want to call it, dream sequence of envisioning what the Viltrumites are doing on Earth before he gets there. The thing is, they don't spread it out over the course of like an issue or 6 issues. It's just that one moment. So when you turn the page, you freak out, as anybody would, and the art is still really effective. It looks great. All the main characters are dead, and you're like, holy shit, before taking a second and realizing, oh no, this is just what Mark is thinking. So there's a part of me that understands what they're doing, trying to stretch it out and using it as a more kind of tactical way to express what Mark is going through. But also, I kind of preferred when they just kind of ripped the band-aid off and they were like, hey, here's a cheap shock moment. All right, let's get over it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's kind of a give and take there. My problem comes in when they're trying to use it to surprise you when, you know, it's pretty obvious what they're doing. They have that same music sting every time. They do that whole out of focus effect. You know, I think people caught on. By that same token, I didn't think the intro of the episode, or what would have been the intro of that episode, of Mark's vision of the Viltrumites coming to Earth had any of the same punch that the comic did. But going back to the positives, I think this episode is really focused on Mark's emotional journey in a way the comic wasn't at this point. It feels a lot more personal and grounded in humanity, something that helps frame the entire story a lot better. You know, it is the midpoint of the story, so it brings it back to what the core of the story is. It is about this kid growing, evolving, redefining himself as his moral compass shifts with age and experience. So let's talk about Thragg. And I'm kind of torn on Thragg, I'm not gonna lie. And I felt the same way in the books, but what do I like about Thragg? I like his quiet confidence. I like that he's not just a bigger conquest, or he's not a big monster guy. He's a politician, a diplomat. What do I not like about him? Well, you know, he's a little boring. He's very strong, and that's cool. I don't know. He's always so level-headed that it's a little bland. His whole thing is that he's very strong, and he loves Viltrum. He doesn't really have much else beyond that. There's not much of an internal conflict with Thragg, and I'm hoping that they're able to give him more similar to how they did with Conquest, you know, knowing that the I'm so lonely thing wasn't in the comics. I like that they're already kind of hinting at doing more with Thragg, you know, giving us his backstory from what we saw. But even in that little sequence, there wasn't really that big of a shock to it. It's pretty much, you know, what I assumed. He was the space vice president. Space president gets killed. Now he's the space president. Hey, I guess that whole space purge thing was a pretty fucking stupid idea, huh, buddy? Now all of a sudden he's Mr. We can't hurt them, our population is dwindling, boo-hoo-hoo. Well, maybe you shouldn't have fucking killed everyone, dumbass. So overall, I'm kind of missing something with Thragg. And I can think of some of the cool moments we have coming up, and he's definitely a big player in the story going forward, as you can imagine. I just hope they give us more to chew on with him, you know? But yeah, that impact frame, that was pretty sick. I think that alone gives him like 10,000 plus style points. Aura, as the kids say. Overall though, I think this season was pretty consistent with what we've been getting so far quality-wise. The show picks its moments and doesn't always hit the mark. Well, you know, it does always hit mark, but okay. I wish they did more to enhance the comic's original story this season, similar to how Season 1 completely reframes Nolan's killing of the Guardians as this big secret he's keeping. Aside from Episode 4, you know, everyone's favorite, this season was pretty one-to-one with my memory of the comic story, with one notable exception and improvement, and that is Nolan's effort toward his own redemption. The show, in some of the best dramatic scenes that the show's delivered so far, explores Nolan's ability to reform after what he's done on Earth. I think that's a lot of the reason why people are interested in him as a character. His connection to Debbie is almost completely destroyed due to his actions, but this season he makes some solid attempts to reforge the relationships that he's destroyed, even if it doesn't always work. One of my favorite moments this season is the time that Oliver and Nolan spend together while Mark is recovering. Nolan gets to be the dad he never was for his son, and I think that means a lot to give Oliver some time with the person he's had in his head for so long, flaws and all. So there were little additions, like you get some more Viltrumite backstory, but I think that that is the biggest contribution this season gives to the original source material, and I'm really looking for more of that going forward. Because as for what's coming next, no spoilers for the comics, I'm not gonna lie, it's some of my least favorite stuff from the source material. Yeah, I'm not a huge Dinosaurus guy. I think he's dumb. Though we are gonna continue Mark's emotional exploration of his constant redefining of what being a hero means, and I'm excited for that development. So I think the next arc in the story could be improved from the source material pretty significantly. And, oh yeah, we'll probably get that moment, or, you know, maybe in season 6, but hey, it's coming. You know what I'm talking about, you sickos. But what did you think about Invincible's most recent season? What do you think about what's to come? Do you know? You must know. I feel like I see Invincible spoilers everywhere. How do you feel about the animation? Do you think it looks fine, or do you think it really needs to improve? Let me know, check out my other stuff, and I'll see you next time.